Hello English learners, how are you doing today? Welcome back to the English with Michael YouTube channel. I want to talk a little bit about intonation today. Intonation is an aspect of pronunciation. I get a lot of requests about accent and pronunciation, all this kind of stuff. So I want to focus on intonation today. And in that word, we've got the word tone. So we're going to be talking about the tone of your speech and how to sound natural when you're talking English. One issue that comes up in pretty much any pronunciation or accent video I make is the debate as to whether you should actually learn this stuff. So I think there are two arguments. I want to mention it very quickly before we get into it, because I know a lot of people really worry about accent and they really worry about their pronunciation. And in some cases, I think there's no need to worry. Many people like studying this, and if you like it, then by all means, you can skip ahead and get started with the lesson. But for some people, it's a source of frustration, and it kind of makes you feel like, oh, this is too difficult, I'm never going to get it. And I just want to say to those people that if you want to skip these lessons, that's totally fine. I do think there's a good argument to be made that these kind of things, such as accent training and intonation, they will happen naturally over time. So if you are kind of listening every day and you're getting into conversations and all this kind of stuff, over time you will pick up a natural rhythm, you will sound more like a fluent speaker, and you don't have to put much effort into it. You have to practice, but I don't think you necessarily have to consciously think about what you're saying. So that's one kind of caveat, that's one little disclaimer I want to give before. If you like this kind of lesson, you can continue, you can study, you can continue. If it's too boring for you, don't worry. I'm sure you can still get that good pronunciation without trying so hard. This could be a whole nother topic, but I just wanted to give that quick disclaimer first. Okay, let's get into the main topic today of intonation. So intonation is basically the rising and falling of your voice. So I'll give you an example. I can notice I'm doing it quite a lot now. I'm very conscious of my intonation as I'm talking. But if we ask a question, very often we have high intonation. We call it a rising intonation, like that. So I say, how is it where you are? Is it okay? And that's really exaggerated, really high rising intonation. So in this case, it kind of indicates uncertainty. I'm not really sure what I'm saying, and I kind of want to know the answer. On the other hand, a falling intonation is when, there's a few reasons for why we do this, but often it's just to end a sentence. And it's a really good tip I will give, because I teach a lot of students for IELTS exam practice and things like that. And one thing that really makes your speaking sound better is if you can allow your intonation to fall at the end, because it signifies to the other person that you are finished speaking, right? So here's an example. I could say, I went to the park and it was fun. That's it. It's really awkward and the other person isn't sure if you're done. Conversely, I could say, I went to the park and it was fun. It was fun. So I went down, which really sounds like a conclusion. It sounds like I finished. So that's one really important rule to remember. If nothing else today, remember that one. And I have been mentioning the word rule a little bit today. Probably it's not the best word though, because I think when it comes to intonation and lots of pronunciation in general, there are not really any rules, just patterns. There's patterns that can be noticed in different things that people say, but you will also see many exceptions to some of these rules or patterns. Yeah, they're not always consistent. So the patterns might help you, but there are many ways to say things. Don't understand it to apply everywhere, basically. So quickly, first we can go over some ways in which we use a falling intonation. Falling intonation is where you go down at the end, like I said. One way in which is often used is just for statements. So I could say, my name is Michael. My name is Michael. So you can hear a lot of kind of rising and falling, like my name is Michael, almost like a song. But the important thing here is I go down at the end. My name is Michael. Yeah. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. Okay, so it goes down at the end. Another one where falling intonation is common is with questions that start with where, who, why, when, how, all of these kind of words. So not yes or no questions, but the W word questions. So I could say, where are you from? How is the weather today? Yeah, so I'm asking a question, but I'm going down at the end. I mean, we possibly could go up in some cases if you're really uncertain, but generally we would go down. So tell me about yourself. Where do you work? Where do you work? Yeah, so while I'm talking, feel free to pause and try to mimic the way I'm saying it. It's going to be really good practice. Where do you work? Okay. The final one I could talk about here are question tags. First of all, a question tag is like when you end a sentence with isn't it, aren't we, aren't they, weren't we. Yeah, it's this little tag at the end to kind of invite another person to agree with you. If you have a question tag with falling intonation, we don't really expect a response. So I could say, oh, it's cold today, isn't it? Cold today, isn't it? Yeah, so I'm not really expecting a reply. I'm just kind of saying what I think and inviting you to join in with me, to agree with me in some way. Oh, you think you're so smart, don't you? You think you're so smart, don't you? Don't you? Yeah, so I go down because it's a rhetorical question. I don't expect a reply. We can come back to question tags right now when we're looking at rising intonation. So rising intonation going up, we use it in a question tag when we really want to know the answer to something. So maybe I've heard somewhere before that you like to play football. I could say, you like football, don't you? You like football, don't you? Don't you? See, it goes up because I really want to know the answer. We've met before, haven't we? We've met before, haven't we? I'm not sure. I want you to tell me, have we met before? Conversely, if I said, we've met before, haven't we? That means like I know we've met before. I'm just repeating it, making it sound like a question. So people often say that Chinese, right, is a tonal language. You have these tones, and English is not. In a way, English is a tonal language because the tone of your sentence will change the meaning, right? Changes what you want to say. In some cases, it's very important, just maybe less so than Chinese. So as I said before, one use of rising intonation is to indicate that you're not finished talking. And if you feel like you're getting interrupted a lot when you're in a conversation, maybe this is the reason. Rather than having your intonation lower at the end of your sentence, make it rise a little bit, and that will indicate that you're still thinking about what to say next. For example, I think today we should go to the park and then we can go get a coffee. Yeah, so when I said park, I went up and that indicated that I wasn't finished. So then it would be very unlikely for someone to interrupt me unless they are perhaps a little bit rude. Another case where we use rising intonation is often with yes and no questions. So if the question requires a yes or no response. If I say, are you 18? You could say, yes, I am, or no, I'm not 18. So are you 18? Are you 18? We go up because I want to know the answer and it is a yes or no question. Excuse me, do you sell magazines in this shop? Do you sell magazines here? Do you sell magazines in this shop? In this shop? So we go up. Are you listening? Are you listening? The final one we could talk about today is a rising and falling intonation, like a real roller coaster, or just like a mountain if you like. So this is really, really useful when you're making a choice. Like you go to a restaurant, for example, and they say, would you like water or lemonade? Water or lemonade? I have to decide between beer or wine. Shall I have beer or wine? Beer or wine? Imagine that mountain going up and down. Yeah, so when you're making a choice between two things, it's really useful. Tonight, should I play video games or do some cooking? Yeah, so see if you can make your own example and try to say it out loud as well. It's also very common with lists, when we're writing lists, or when we're saying lists even. So imagine you have a shopping list. In the supermarket, I am going to buy tomatoes, apples, pears, and milk. So every item we kind of have a rising intonation, and then when you get to the last one, you go down. And again, it just signifies that the list is over. So in a way, it's kind of like verbal punctuation. That's kind of the effect that intonation has. The final one I will mention today, the final pattern, is with conditional sentences. So very often in a conditional, which is a sentence with if, the if clause at the beginning will rise and the result clause will fall. If he comes, I will be happy. Yeah? If he comes, I'll be happy. If you pay for my taxi, I'll pay you back. If you pay for my taxi, I'll pay you back. So again, it's the rise that indicates it's not finished. The fall indicates that you have finished. That's the summary, really. There we go. There's probably more that I can say on this, but this was kind of a little introductory topic today. And what did you think? Hope you found it useful. I've never done this topic before on YouTube, so give me your feedback. I'd love to hear if it was useful or whatever else. But either way, thank you very much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye for now.